Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Before we dive into the episode, I am so excited to share with you that my brand new online course, Cashed Up Creatives, is officially out now. Now, this course is for my artists with neurospicy brains, my bi-weekly paycheck cuties who just don't want a budget, or anyone who wants to get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle and finally experience financial wellness. This course is for you. It's gonna help you get 3 months ahead on bills. It's gonna help you pay off debt while you still take vacations. It's gonna help you manage your fluctuating or consistent income with ease. You're gonna be able to confidently talk to your parents or partner about your money decisions. You're gonna be able to open a retirement account and invest your first or next $500. You're always gonna have surplus in your bank account, and it's gonna teach you how to ditch your scarcity mindset so you can feel abundant with money. Now, this is a self-study course, meaning that when you make your one-time payment of $247, you have immediate access to the course content for life. And on top of lifetime access, the best part about what I'm sharing with you today is that for the rest of 2025, I am going to be hosting live monthly office hours for anyone who has joined the course. Totally for free, included with the price that you pay for the course itself. I, of course, recommend joining as soon as possible because the earlier you join, the more of those monthly office hours calls that you are going to get to attend. I cannot wait to see you inside and to help you get cashed up. Hello, everyone. We are now officially in the second half of my 10-week series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. And if you haven't been here for the first 5 weeks, that is okay. The first 5 weeks are not a prerequisite to enjoy the next 5 weeks. But I also encourage you to find the ones that activate you the most. I want you to download these episodes. So 6 months from now, I want you to come back and listen to the episode again and see what comes up for you that's totally new. Mindset work is like a complicated math problem. So when you think about math, we can easily do 2 plus 2 in our head, but if you try and do 371 times 7 divided by 12 plus 7, right? You can't do that in your brain. You need to get out a piece of paper and work out the problem. That doesn't mean the problem is unsolvable. You just need to get it down on paper. So same with mindset work. Taking intentional time to get out your journal and work through a mindset problem, something that's coming up, that's how you solve it. So enjoy this second half of the series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. So welcome to day 7 of Money Affirmations that actually work. This 10-day series is about going deep each day into one single affirmation so that the affirmation can actually work for you. And what does it mean by work? It means literally actually bringing in more money. Because that's the whole reason we want to change our money mindset, right? Is to be able to have more money in our bank accounts, in our bank accounts, in our savings accounts, in our paychecks, everywhere. We want more money everywhere. So when we're doing mindset work, that's always the goal. And the goal, of course, I feel like the secondary goal is to feel better, right? To have a better relationship. But the whole reason you want a better relationship is so you have more in the accounts, so that you have more freedom, flexibility, opportunity, and choice, which is what money gives you, right? So for today, we are going to choose an affirmation. We have 4 affirmations left because it's day 7. So we have 1, 2, 7, and 10. If you are here live and you want to drop a number of which one you'd like to do today, 1, 2, 7, and 10, those are the ones we have left. As we're choosing our next affirmation, I'm going to go ahead and read the ones we've done so far in this 10-day series. I release all resistance to attracting money. Making money is easy and enjoyable. I am in control of my financial destiny. Every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. I am worthy of a prosperous life, and I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. I want to make more money. Yes, I love that. I love that. Let's talk about that today. Oh no, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, we're good. So those are the affirmations that we've done so far in this 10-day series. As a reminder, we have 1, 2, 7, and 10 left. Going once, going twice. Does anyone want to drop a number? If not, I'm going to choose one at random. Going 3 times. All right, let's go with number 1. In the realm of I want to make extra money, right? Let's talk about my income is constantly increasing. That is our affirmation for today. My income is constantly increasing. So first thing we do when we read an affirmation is figure out and listen in to what happened in your brain and in your body when that affirmation was read. My income is constantly increasing. Let's sit with that for a second. My income is constantly increasing. Does that feel true or does it not feel true? If it doesn't feel true, let's ask some questions, right? So there's 2 ways to go into affirmations. One way is to go in through the brain, and the other way is to go in through the body, okay? I'm a very, my brain, she is just constantly running her gears, firing on all cylinders at all hours of the night and day. So that's my instinctual first place that I go into an affirmation through my brain, and then I want to drop it into my body, okay? So when we're saying the brain, that means asking yourself questions about the affirmation. So when we say my income is constantly increasing, if you believe it and you feel good about that, amazing. Run with it. Keep that one playing in the background on your soundtrack. But if it does not feel true, get in your journal and say, why does it not feel true? Why does it feel like my income is stagnating? Or why does it feel like my income always decreases? What is the statement that does feel true? If this one doesn't feel true, what is the statement in this world, right, of my income is constantly increasing that does feel true? So, for example, one of the ones that comes up for me is my income is constantly increasing as long as I put in the work. So that's interesting that phrase feels true, but it's got a caveat with it, right? And I think work to me, I want to do some more journaling on what do I actually believe is required of me to consistently increase my income. And if I don't put in that work, I believe, or whatever I deem as enough work, if I don't put in enough work, then my income is going to decrease. I have some caveats around an affirmation. So I want you to clock that too. If you have caveats around an affirmation. So for example, I am, the one we did a couple days ago, I am worthy of a prosperous life as long as ... right? You might believe it, but there might be strings attached, okay? So I want you to clock those strings and I want you to get really clear about what those strings are, okay? So note that as something you can journal on. What are the caveats around these affirmations, right? My income is constantly increasing as long as, or if X, Y, and Z is true, then my income constantly increases, or my income would constantly increase if fill in the blank. See what happens, okay? The other thing we can do here is my income is constantly increasing. If you don't believe that's true, why, right? We can pull evidence for why you don't believe that, but then pull every bit of evidence when your income did increase, right? Everyone's gotten at least a little bit of an increase in income at some point in their lives, right? You got a teeny little pay bump at your restaurant, your nannying gig, they bumped you up from 15 an hour to 17 an hour, right? We've all had an experience where you got a little bit of a pay bump, but go scrounge the archives to find all the evidence to prove that that's true, okay? Let's use the what if principle here. What if my income was constantly increasing? For those of you who are joining for the first time today, the what if principle is adding the phrase what if to the beginning of the affirmation to turn it into a question. What if my income was constantly increasing? What would that look like? This is similar to the affirmation we did earlier in the series about making money is easy and enjoyable. What if making money was easy and enjoyable? What if making money was easy and enjoyable? What if my income was constantly increasing? These both live in the same world. They have a similar flavor, okay? So asking yourself this question might create an action list for you of what if my income was constantly increasing? What would that require of me? What would the person whose income is constantly increasing, what would her life look like? We can go into the identity piece of this. We've talked about this before in previous days of the series. But the identity of the person who does have consistently increasing income, what do they think about money? What do they think about income? What do they think about earning? Right? What do they think about what it means to consistently make more and more income, right? Does more income mean more problems? Not to that person. More income means more freedom. More income means more choice. More income means more excitement and more fun. That's the belief they have. So if the person who consistently increases their income believes that more money actually equals less problems, great, now you have a new affirmation. More money equals less problems. Ooh, what comes up there? What if making more money created less problems for me? What comes up for you here when you say, what if all of those things were true? What if all of those things were true? And then what comes up? So this is where then you're going to go on a bunny trail in your journal. So this is where journal prompts, whenever you're doing a journal prompt, I want you to take the first prompt, but then I want you to follow it with your own brain trail, right? So do you see what I'm doing out loud here? It's like, what if my income was constantly increasing? Okay, I'm going to journal on that. So then who is the person who that is true for? What does she do, think, and feel? Oh, one of the things she feels is that more money equals less problems. So that's why she's always wanting to make more of it. She definitely also believes that making money is easy and enjoyable because she's consistently increasing it. So why don't I believe that more money equals less problems? Like, when has money come with more strings and more problems for me? Let me find that evidence. Let me actually dispel that evidence or find evidence to the contrary. How could more money actually decrease all of my problems, right? And if more money decreased all of my problems, am I worried about then like what I would even think about throughout the day if I had that kind of financial ease? Okay, if I had that kind of financial ease, what would I want to spend my time doing? Like if I actually had more free time, more time for my family, more time for my friends, more time for just my hobbies, am I afraid I'm going to be bored? Is my identity wrapped up in the struggle and the hustle and grind? If I'm not hustle and grinding anymore, who am I anymore? Do you see how like then you can bunny trail all the way down to some like core root things that you can start to pull apart, right? Like we're following the string. So for those of you who just joined us, our affirmation today is my income is constantly increasing. My income is constantly increasing. So what we're doing with this affirmation right now is we're attacking the affirmation from the brain. We have two ways we can attack an affirmation, from the brain and from the body. So when we're journaling, a lot of times we're starting with the brain and then it's then going to drop into the body, right? So as I went through that bunny trail and got near the end of like, who am I if I am not wrapped up in the hustle and grind of day-to-day life, of like constantly trying to make more money, having to put a lot of effort in, I'm such a hard worker, and like you're constantly kind of distracted by all of that. And this is just an example. Like if that's where I ended up, now I'm going to feel something in my body about that, right? So like my identity being wrapped up in the hustle and grind, okay, maybe I need to like unlearn some of that. Why do I feel like I can't just sit and ease? Maybe that's tied to the anxiety that I feel, right? So now that it's dropped a little bit further into the body, now let's attack the affirmation from the body. So I want you to sit with, my income is constantly increasing. And if you want to use the what if principle here to make it feel like a little bit more of a thing, what if my income was constantly increasing? Like, see where that lands in you. For me, it kind of landed here, like right in my sternum, which is interesting. Normally when I feel things, they're in my gut or they're right in my chest and in my heart. This one kind of landed right here. So that's interesting for me. So I'm going to like sit with that feeling and like there's something happening in my body where this affirmation doesn't feel the most expansive to me. Now, if you've been here all of these days, I talked about what was the affirmation? It was making money is easy and enjoyable. That was the one. And see, it comes back to this one because I told you these are in the same world. Making money is easy and enjoyable and my income is constantly increasing are tied a little bit. So the work you did on that affirmation on day like 3 or 4, go back and look at that work because this is tied into this. So for me, making money is easy and enjoyable. What I was talking about earlier today about strings being attached, there being caveats. For me, making money is easy and enjoyable feels true until I start thinking about anything above 150K. Then it starts to be less easy, a little less enjoyable. So I have a cap, I have a caveat of when that affirmation stops being true. So when I think about my income is constantly increasing, that's when I hit my cap, right? So there is something in me that feels like ease of making money and money consistently increasing. There becomes a new level where it gets harder. I don't want it, etc. at a certain income level. So this is the work that I am going to be doing in my journal and in my body. So when I'm sitting with this affirmation, my income is constantly increasing. That actually comes with a little bit of there's some stickiness in my body right now. It doesn't feel super expansive because I literally experienced my income consistently to increase. And then there was stuff that came with it that I didn't like, and I kind of freaked out a little bit last year, right? That's what happened. So I'm reliving that right now. My body is reliving that. And it's oh fuck, I do believe my income consistently increases, but making money only feels easy and enjoyable up until a certain point. So SOS, stop. I don't want you to consistently increase because I don't want that stuff that comes with it. So do you see what just happened? As I'm tuning into my body, I'm ooh, that is where the resistance is. That is interesting. So now kind of all over, I'm just feeling a little bit of kind of molasses is in there. I'm feeling a little heavy. I'm feeling a little when I'm feeling into that. So again, for those of you who just joined us, our affirmation today is my income is constantly increasing. So we've attacked it from the brain, right? Journaling on it, having prompts and diving deep into what is your brain categorizing this affirmation as true or false, right? And now when we followed that bunny trail inside the journal, then we throw it into the body. What's happening in your physical body? So now there's a lot of ways to make the affirmation start to work for you. So what we've been doing up to this point is seeing what your baseline is, right? What is your brain automatically doing? What is your body automatically doing? But then we want to choose how your brain continues to think about this affirmation and choose to shift how your body is feeling about this affirmation. So if I wasn't currently on live right now, the first thing that I would do, I'm feeling some stuff in my body right now, talking that out loud of what came up for me with that affirmation. So first thing I would do is I would go on a walk, right? So I need to dispel this energy that's happening in my body before I can even tap back into my brain. I'm going to go on a walk, and I would probably put something in my ears. I would put one of my podcasts in my ears, something around mindset, getting me back into high energy and high vibe. I'd listen to some of my favorite songs. Remember we were talking about 2 days ago about getting good energy into your body and then bringing an affirmation in. So you're already feeling the juiciness in your body. I talked about, everyone's seeing Wicked. A lot of people for the first time, they've never experienced Wicked before, and Defying Gravity is hitting them for the first time. I'm so happy for you. If that gives you the chills in your body, go listen to that, go play that, feel that all in your body, and then bring in my income is constantly increasing. Making money is easy and enjoyable. And repeat that and let your body get into that juicy feeling. So that's the first thing I would do. I would take myself on a walk and I would get different feelings floating around in my body that are not this, right? I might do some yoga. I kind of feel like I need to contort my body a little bit to stretch this out. I might even sit after I do that and say, what's still here? How are we feeling? Where is it landing, right? Because right now it's just kind of all over. So after I do that, then I'm going to come back to my journal. And the thing that I just discovered, right, with my baseline, non-journaling, but just verbally kind of the bunny trail that I went down is, why do I have a cap, right? So going back to that work that I did, right, on making money as easy and enjoyable from one of the earlier days, there is a cap, there's a string attached. There's a caveat to how much money feels easy and enjoyable, to how much I actually want my income to increase. So I'm going to really dissect that. And I'm going to say, well, what is that number? Right? What is that number that starts to feel scary? And then is it actually true? Right? And I did some of this work around making money as easy and enjoyable, but what do I need to feel supported as I continue to make more money? What do I need to feel like my income can constantly increase and I don't freak myself out about it? And I think what's coming up for me now is I've always struggled with anxiety. And so I think there's a piece of it that I'm afraid that my anxiety will take over. And so if I'm not supported, if I push myself into a place where it does start to be harder and like freak me out and like feels like I can't handle it, I'm so afraid that my anxiety would then ruin the show, right? And so that's now a conversation that I have to have with my anxiety, that I now have to have with my body and my nervous system. And I have to do some work. Like I would probably do some, this is like a blend of somatics, meditation, inner child work, but I'd probably sit and have like a meditative moment where I talk to my anxiety and I talk to myself, right? And I ask myself, like, what makes you feel out of control? What makes you feel like you couldn't handle this? What is your worst fear? What are you afraid would happen, right? And so what are like the manifestations of my anxiety that freak me out the most? And then what do I need in place? So this is like, I'm going to talk to my anxiety. I'm going to do a little inner child work. I'm going to do a little somatic work, touch into what's coming up there that's making me feel super scared. But then I'm also then going to make a practical list from that information. What do I need in order to support myself? Because I do want my income to increase, right? All of us, right? I want all of you to know money equals freedom, opportunity, and choice. But making more money doesn't have to be this like padlock, chains, working hard, hustling more. Again, go back to the day we did making money is easy and enjoyable. We talked a lot about this too. Making money gets to mean that your life gets easier, right? So that is truly what I desire, but I'm noticing the resistance. So I want to clear that resistance, because also day one of the affirmation series was, I release all resistance to attracting money. You bet your ass. Let's fucking do it. That's what we are doing in this series. I love that that's what we started on with day one. So then I would make a practical list of what do I need to feel like my income can consistently increase and I am not afraid of how much it would increase. And I truly believe that it gets to be easy and enjoyable. So again, like maybe there's a hire that I need to make. I've already been implementing some more like daily space for myself to either ground, to be outside, to work out, to journal. I'm not like a perfect morning routine girly. I actually think there are very few people who are that like Pinterest morning routine girly. What I realized was what I desire from a morning routine is me being able to start the day for myself and being able to have space to do what I need to do to get right for the day. So that might mean maybe I don't start having client calls until 10 a.m. Right now I start having client calls at 9 a.m. Maybe, and not on Mondays, but later in the week I start at 9 a.m. But maybe I push my client calls to maybe even the afternoon, right? Maybe that's something I play with. But I've started to create more space in my calendar and in my mornings for me to do whatever I need to do. Not I'm going to wake up and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to journal and I'm going to go on a walk and I'm going to I'm going to wake up and then decide what I need for the day. And I've given myself space and time to be able to do that. Okay. So that would be the first thing. And then maybe practically that then requires me to move around my work schedule, right? Maybe that requires me to say no to some EPAs that I would have to wake up super early for, that maybe I don't like fully feel right for the role, but I feel guilty not going into the audition, because as an actor, you should be auditioning for anything and everything. That's another thought that I've been working on this year, is being able to say no to artistic opportunities that don't feel like a fuck yes for me, that feel like a yeah, I could. No, I want a fuck yes for everything. So that would be a practical thing that comes out of me then doing this like meditative work and figuring out what I need to do with my anxiety. Something else was maybe I want to like implement acupuncture really works for me. And so maybe it's me implementing, bi-monthly acupuncture sessions, right? Like to have my physical body worked on, my energy worked on. Maybe it's like my support system, like my family and I, we were just talking about, we used to do weekly family FaceTimes, and we haven't done like consistently weekly family FaceTimes in a while just because everything got so crazy with their move. I mean, my sister's out in LA, just things have gotten wild, but maybe we implement that so I feel more of a support system, right? So then there's practical things that come out of me having this moment with talking to my anxiety, talking to my inner child, figuring out where my fears are so that I can feel supported, right? And I'm not afraid of my anxiety kicking up because I know even if it does, I have all of this support around me so that I don't spiral into a dark place, right? And then this leads back to, okay, well now I feel okay with whatever comes my way when my income consistently increases. So now like energetically, I've opened up to my income being able to consistently increase because of the work that I did earlier on in the series about making money as easy and enjoyable. So I have an action list of ways that I can making over 150K easier and more enjoyable than I experienced it in the past, right? So now I can take action while I'm continuing to recite these affirmations that now fucking feel like something in my body that make it actually resonate with me, right? So do you see how it's all tied together? And this is just one affirmation. Again, for those of you who have just joined, my income is constantly increasing was our affirmation today. Okay? So do you see how like my income is constantly increasing took me all the way down to maybe I need to reinstate weekly calls with my family. Like that doesn't make sense when you make that big jump. But when we go from like assessing where that affirmation hits baseline in your brain and in your body, assess, then feel into your body, do what you need to do, come back to your journaling, follow a bunny trail, figure out what the core problem is, what the core issue is, have a little moment with your inner child, and then make a list practically, and then figure out where the resistance is. Like the web can go so many ways. So this is just me and my brain and my body. This affirmation probably did something totally different to you. Maybe there were similar things that came up for you, but this is what I want you to do with this affirmation today. Assess where it is in your brain, assess where it is in your body, okay? Then go get whatever funkiness is in your body, go get it out, right? Go get yourself into some good feeling energy in your body. Come back to the journal. Decide how you want to feel about this affirmation and then make it true, right? Follow the bunny trail of things. When you find the root resistance, then take another moment with your body of like, ooh, that root resistance, you'll know when you've hit it when it hits you, right? Like as you're journaling, right? What's going to happen is you're journaling, it's in your head. And then you're like, oop, I'm afraid my anxiety will take me down. Like that's going to hit you in the gut, right? Whatever the root resistance is, then you're going to feel it in your body. So then you know, okay, now it's time to tune back into my body. All right, what is that? Like, and then you're releasing the affirmation you started with, right? You're now focusing on what came up for you here. Right? And then you're going to go back to your journal and make some decisions about the thing you did with your body, with your inner child, with your somatic work, whatever that means. And for those of you who don't know, like somatic work and what I'm saying with like inner child, meditative, whatever, I'm lumping all of that in together. All that means is that you're talking to your body, you're talking to, a younger version of yourself, the higher version of yourself. You're taking yourself out of your brain and you're doing stuff that just feels a little more connected to your physical body and also your like subconscious. That's what we're talking about when I say somatic work. That's not the official definition, but I'm lumping that all in together because it's different than journaling work. Like journaling can be like meditative and talking to your subconscious, but a lot of times for me, because my brain is just, again, firing on all cylinders, all hours of the day, journaling tends to be a very heady thing for me. And then I have to go to my body and then I come back to my journal and then I go back to my body. So I just want to make that clear. Okay. So that's what your job is today. For my income is constantly increasing. That's your homework. That's the order of operations. Go play with it and go see what happens. So the other thing I want to give you as a journal prompt to start you off, right? So like there's a couple of journal prompts that are very easy, immediate ways to get into an affirmation, which is the what if principle. So turning it into a question. So what if my income was constantly increasing? Then you can ask, what would that mean for me? What would that look like? Who is the identity of the person who this is true for? Okay. So that's the first way that you can clock into this affirmation. Oh, I lost my train of thought. My income is constant. Oh, the other thing. So the other thing then is, I think the big thing is like, what would that require of me if my income was constantly increasing? But then there's something about like worthiness and deserving. So do I feel like I deserve my income to constantly increase? Right? Or is there the caveat, like we talked about at the beginning, my income is constantly increasing as long as I deserve it, or as long as I prove myself worthy of it, or as long as I donate this amount, or as long as I do good things with it, which like, yes, we want you to do good things with your money. But then if your brain says you deserve to consistently grow your income as long as you do good things with it, make your brain create a list of what good things mean. Sometimes your brain will just throw shit out like that, and you have to like sit her down and be like, can you define that, please? Can you define that? We were talking about this with the affirmation earlier. I think was it 2 days ago? I am worthy of a prosperous life. Someone was like, yeah, like I think I have some like worthiness blocks. Like I am worthy of a prosperous life. The worthy thing is hanging me up. And I was like, okay, so I am worthy of a prosperous life. If you don't believe that, who do you believe is worthy of a prosperous life? Think about someone in your life that you believe is worthy of a prosperous life, and then tell your brain, why is that person worthy of a prosperous life? List the qualities and the reasons why they are worthy of a prosperous life. And think about, if you can, is there someone who you think about that does not deserve a prosperous life? Think about that. And then write why. If you do have someone come to your mind, why don't they deserve a prosperous life? Have your brain give you the fucking facts. Sometimes our brain, it just says shit and you're like, what are you actually talking about? So if you say, brain, tell me why that person does deserve a prosperous life, and maybe you write things like, you know, they are like a wonderful member of their community. They would do really great things with their money. They already do wonderful things with the money they currently have. They're a loving presence. They had a really hard, time in their life, and this would support them or something. I don't know, like write the list. And then I want you to ask your brain, are these things not true about me? Or what of these qualities do I not have? What are the qualities that I do have that make me not worthy of a prosperous life? Ask your brain that. Your brain is separate from you. Your brain is a machine that is just, it's like working on ones and zeros. Like it really is. It feels like it's heavy. It's like a lot more complicated than it actually is, but it is purely working on ones and zeros. And it's because we've got feelings and stuff going on in our body that's connected to our brain that our brain's trying to make sense of, that makes it feel way more complicated. But your brain is ones and zeros. So you have to ask it very specific questions. Otherwise, it's just going to throw ones and zeros at you because it's trying to make sense of what you've given it. So you have to say, why am I not worthy, and why is this person worthy? And at the end of the day, as I do like the math of what being worthy of a prosperous life means, am I not worthy of a prosperous life? Brain, you said it. This person has these qualities and they're worthy of a prosperous life. I have these qualities. That means I'm worthy of a prosperous life. The math is not mathing with what you're saying, and your brain's going to be like, okay. So then you're putting in like a different algorithm into your brain. That's what sometimes journaling work is doing. Your brain's running on automatic algorithms. And sometimes you have to feed it a different algorithm. So like I said, what I'm going to do with our today's affirmation, my income is constantly increasing. I have to feed my brain a different algorithm of what it means to make over a certain income, right? Because there's an income cap in my brain that is easy and enjoyable to make, and makes me resist wanting to consistently make more and more money. So I have to feed myself a different algorithm of like, wait, what if your continual increasing of income actually makes your life continually easier and more enjoyable, right? What if the bigger your revenue gets in your business, the easier your business is going to be to run? I have a lot of evidence that points to that not being true, but I don't like that that's not true. So I'm going to go create a different algorithm and feed it to my brain, okay? So that's what I want you to think about. Like when you're doing journaling work, that's what you're doing. You're creating new algorithms and then telling your brain, put that in, brain, because I just made your math incalculable. So go do the correct math now, right? I am worthy of a prosperous life. My income is consistently increasing. Making money is easy and enjoyable. I release all resistance to making money. Now I'm just listing all the affirmations that we've been doing in this 10-day series so far. Okay, so that's your homework today. That's our affirmation today. My income is constantly increasing. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.